Hey everybody, welcome back to another Avengers video on my YouTube channel. If you weren't here when we recorded this live, this is my interview from Friday, April 30 with Keano Raubun, the writer of Marvel's Avengers Future Imperfect, the Hawkeye DLC. I'm going to just give you the whole video in full that you can watch. It's pretty long. We had a long conversation. We had a great conversation. So check it out. I do want to warn you that about 2 minutes into the video, there is a moment where one of my stream alerts goes off. Someone in chat told me and I caught it, and that's the only one. But unfortunately, that is on the video, so you're going to hear that. For the most part, though, enjoy the video. Let me know what you think. If you like this and want to see more of this kind of content, let me know. I can try to set up more interviews like this if the Avengers team wants to do that. Thank you so much to Crystal Dynamics and Andy Wong for setting this up. It's an honor to be able to do these kinds of conversations. All right, I'm going to give you the whole video now. Watch, enjoy, and let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe too. All right. Hello. Hi, Keano.
Hi. I'm on the stream.
Can everybody see and hear, and does it look right? I hope I did it right. Is it working? Does it look at that. Okay. I see things. You guys can hear Keano? Hello everyone. Can Keano show his Warhammer, please? Hello everyone. Hello Keano. Thank you so much for joining. Guys, if you don't know what's going on, this is Keano Raubun. Did I get that right? I've been practicing.
Keano Raubun, it's fine. You're pretty close.
I was practicing so long.
You're good. You're better than most people.
Okay.
Like, you're like top 10.
Top 10.
Top
I'll
5
take
maybe.
It. Top 10. I'll take it. And he is the as it says, game and narrative designer. He wrote Future Imperfect, and very excited to have him on the show. So everybody in chat, be super welcoming and say hello, and spam emotes like we do, that kind of thing. Thank you for being willing to do this with us. I'm very excited.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I always like these things. They're fun.
Yeah. I mean, this is, as you know, I suppose, the second one that I've gotten a chance to do, and I'm really excited because I guess I got to say it, like, Hannah set a pretty high bar. Like, she was.
Oh no! I never really imagined like there was like a bar going on. I was just like, I just watched Hannah. I was like, oh shit, I want to be on this. I want to be on this Twitch stream. Like, yeah, now I am. So
yeah, no, she very, very much was a joy to talk to. So you just gotta at least meet the Hannah level, maybe clear it. We'll see what happens.
Hannah's great. Like, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Hannah is great. I do, before we get into Avengers questions, which obviously most of them are going to be Avengers questions. One of my viewers is Dutch, and he's also having a birthday. So I went out of my way to learn this question. So my question for you is pannenkoek of poffertjes. Is that am I right?
Yeah.
Am I right? Yeah. Okay.
I understood what you said.
Okay. I know it probably wasn't 100%, but
I'm more of a pannenkoek guy.
Okay. Pannenkoek. Okay.
Pancakes.
That mean pancakes, and then I heard the other one is something like Dutch baby.
Yeah, there's like tiny pancakes. They're fluffy clouds of sweetness.
Yeah. I mean, both of them are a win, and basically what you're saying.
I'll be happy with any of them.
Happy with any of them. I like it. I like it. Well, I guess we should probably get down to some of the hard-hitting questions, because I was told by you, I think, that you wanted the tough ones, right?
Oh God, why do I do this to myself? Yeah, sure. Let's make it nice and difficult. Like, I mean, and he's been throwing me hardball questions. I'm okay. This is my stat. This is my level. Just like, give me the tough questions.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically you've probably seen. Did Andy share the questions with you? Or?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't know.
But I expect some like curveballs here and there, so I'm like,
yeah.
We'll
see.
Chad's gonna add some fun stuff, like what's your Space Marine chapter that you're painting, and it's a custom Space Marine chapter. They're called the Cosmic Crusaders, and they're violet colored. I'm still working on them. Takes a lot of time.
There you go. That is a hobby that is very intriguing to me, but I don't think I could do. Like I
Really?
just don't feel like I have the. So I used to do like film and videography and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I was constantly aware of is the ability, like I just couldn't hold my hand still. And so when I think about painting something tiny, I go, not gonna happen for me. So
you get used to it, but who knows?
Yeah. So, all right, let's get started here. Let's start with a couple questions about you. So
Sure. Yeah.
what's your I don't know, what's your career history? Where'd
What's
you
my
get
what's my
started?
dealio? What's
Yeah,
my
what's your deal? There you
why
go.
are you even here? It's like
There you go.
so I graduated high school and then I did like 4 years of a game course in Breda, which is southern of the Netherlands, called what was it? We called it IGAD. It was like International Game Architecture and Design.
Okay.
And from there on, I did a design and production course for like 4 years
Mm-hmm.
with a specialization in narrative design, which factors into me actually getting the job as a narrative designer eventually. And then I was looking for a job for like a year and a half because it's pretty hard to break into the industry, even if you're just from, you graduate and it's like, oh, I should. Some people already have a job lined up, mostly because they go for internships and that's how they stick with the job. But other people, like me, like we had to like apply to like 20 different companies and get like 20 rejections, and then you get one person accepts. It's like, oh, well, I didn't expect that, and that's how I got to work at Nixie's, which is in the Netherlands, and we worked together with Crystal on basically everything for Avengers.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's my origin story.
That's your history. So
I always wanted to make video games, and now make video games, living the dream. Like almost every game developer would probably tell you at some point.
I mean, that's still good to hear. Like, I think people that want to make video games now and aren't making video games probably want to hear that you wanted to make video games and now you're making video games. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of story that you want to tell people, I think. That's encouraging. I like that.
Yeah, and it's easier than ever to actually like even like if you don't want to go to a course or like a university to study it, you can just Unreal Engine 4 is really easy. Unity's better than ever. Like when I started, we didn't have those options. Like Unity was still like in sort of like infancy. We weren't allowed to use Unity. We had to do like everything from scratch. Like what? But nowadays it's just like, oh well, I got like all these YouTubers do amazing do tutorials to explain everything from scratch, and it's like wow. That's how I'm learning Unreal Engine 4 right now. And it's like wow, this is a lot easier than I sort of like expected, and just ease of use, and just the amount of documentation is mostly important when how you get into the nitty gritty of things. So.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that like as more people get into it, like it seems like I mean I guess I would assume that like that kind of opening the door for people coming after you is probably a goal of like having documentation and stuff. Like somebody doesn't have to necessarily go to school to learn, and I don't know. I like that kind of thing. Helping out somebody get there. I like that a lot. Okay, so now what's your history with comics, with the Marvel characters, with the Avengers? Did you
not as much? They basically someone decided at some point to pay me money, and I had to research things for work purposes, and that's how I got into the whole the comic space. Like I grew up. I actually wanted to be like a comic book writer or like an artist at some point. Like when Keano made like all these Mega Man fan comics.
Yeah, and
then eventually like I write for the biggest comic publisher franchise ever. So it's like, oh, I guess that's sort of like a circle kind of thing. So that worked out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, like I used to love another, competitive thing, comics, which I won't name. But hey, Marvel's great. I love Marvel.
I feel like I dove pretty far into the comic reading world after seeing the first, not like the first of the MCU, but the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
I saw that and I left the theater and I was like, I want more of that. The whole idea of like a story where the villain is insurmountable, but these people have to like still beat him anyway. Like that was a cool story, and I felt like I hadn't experienced that before. So I don't know. Anyway, that was
the MCU is a really good gateway to get you into the whole thing. I think they succeeded in the past. How many years has it been?
Oh man, all of them? I don't know. Is there a time without the MCU? I don't know anymore at this point.
MCU is my life at this point. I don't know.
So I guess now that you've had to dive in, I guess I'm gonna wrap up like the Keano specific questions.
We can come back
right away, but yeah. Let's go with a question that someone in chat asked about Hawkeye. So Rune was wondering, when you were thinking about creating Hawkeye for the game, what history of Hawkeye did you use? Did you use like the circus background? Like what were you taking his character from as you were building that character?
So we definitely like lean very much for all the interpretations of our characters is always like the comics, right? So for us, it was definitely like Hawkeye had a Loki, like at the Loki had a like the comic, the circus background, and we basically had to fill in over time because it wasn't very much like the Hawkeye's actual background. We didn't nail that until sort of like while we were working on it, as much as because you know writing isn't a linear process, right? At some point you're just like, okay, we need this character at this point of the story, and because okay, but who is the character? Well, we'll figure it out. Like, do we even have canvas to explain who he is and where he comes from and stuff? We have a lot of that's about what we use all the intel docs for. So if you go play the game, you collect all these intel docs that give you shed more light on Hawkeye's background and what he was doing before A-Day and during A-Day and after A-Day, and it's always like the A-Day is always or sort of like what was this? What was our character doing during A-Day with every character that we actually introduce in the game?
So that's actually in the docs, Intel docs in the game, because that was actually one of my questions.
I think so. It should be.
Okay, I need to look at that.
I may be wrong, and then Nicole's gonna yell at me.
Yeah.
Like, now we have to write an Intel doc.
The patch comes out tomorrow with just one change, just a new doc.
I wish a patch could come out tomorrow, just like the turnover. Like, oh yeah, I just want to write something and then some magically voices stuff.
Yeah, just because I honestly despite how many hours I have in this game, for some reason I haven't done what at least my buddy Fate Walker has done and just sat down and did all of the codex. And I really need to do that. My plan was actually to do it before this, and then life. So life finds a way.
Listening to them or gathering them?
Just like listening and like going through them all. I think I have everything other than a couple of them, but I just actually listening through them, because you spend a lot of time.
It's very much I need to sit down for this activity if you really want to go through that, because there's a lot. There's a lot of codex entries.
Yeah, I think Fate found that like going through the whole intelligence files was like 4 hours or something. Like it was a while. He did it one time, but I need to give that some time as well, because I'm very interested. Because one of my questions...
he's in chat. I see him in chat now.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my questions was, where was Hawkeye? Because I was just didn't know. Do you know the answer? Is that something that
my headcanon? Hawkeye was asleep on the couch and he missed A-Day. That was my sort of like, that's always what I thought in my head. And then Nicole was something different, and I was like, what? Okay. I don't know exactly what he was. Nicole, what was he doing? Someone, writer, give me what was he doing during A-Day?
That honestly like connects.
What did we settle on
with my version of Hawkeye?
Yeah, right. He totally would oversleep. Like, he just waked up and then. He was depressed for like 6 months after that, and then he decided to fight AIM. Or that's basically sort of like the because all the Avengers were all having their midlife crisis, and Black Widow and Clint are the like I think the only ones who actually were like let's continue to fight against injustice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So Tony loses all his money. Hulk stays Hulk. Bruce Banner gets depressed and stays in Hulk form forever.
My headcanon Hawkeye, I think, since I read the Matt Fraction run, like, has always been those, probably the first 5 issues. Whenever I see Hawkeye, immediately in my brain I just think, okay, this looks bad. Because that's like a motif, I guess, that's running through.
Yeah, it's in a dialogue. We put like this is bad. Like
yeah. And
I got an answer on the Clinton thing, by the way. He was in LA with Kate recruiting for West Coast.
There you go. Okay. West Coast convert. Just kidding. But yeah, I always picture the issue of the Fraction run where he calls Tony like super urgently and like basically what he's calling Tony about. It seems like it's the most dramatic thing, but he's trying to wire his stereo system for Christmas. I don't know if you've read that one.
There's the direct quote to that event, banter between them too. So yes.
So yeah,
one of the elevator stuff. You'll
man, I'm missing so many elevator things. I haven't done a lot of hives lately, so I need to go through and just listen to elevator conversations. That ties into that question. So, favorite elevator dialogue that you wrote?
What was the favorite elevator dialogue that I wrote? I think I wrote it down. Which one it was? Did I write it down? I've been asked this question a lot of times. I mean, there's one elevator line that I love for Nicole also loves one, which is one of the solo lines, the solo elevator lines that trigger. And I don't think you guys have heard much of the solo elevator dialogue lines only since the Tachyon event, because we wrote a lot of solo lines, but they never played because you basically have a different combinations of Avengers, so there were no eligible conditions. But if you play with all the characters of one type, there's a lot more dialogue you'll be able to hear now, which is just the NPC talking to themselves. They were written in mind that there would be no one else in the elevator.
I actually
you'll probably hear them more naturally once you actually can select the amount of heroes you can actually take with you. That's a thing that's coming up. So
I was actually very curious if there was anything that would happen if you did all 4, but we haven't tried it with hives yet. So yeah, that's good to know. But if you did write down your favorite dialogue, just definitely.
It was Hawkeye talking to himself. It's like bows check, arrows check, anxiety. Oh, still there.
Well, that's a little relatable. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's Hawkeye in my eyes, at least. Like he's a guy with the imposter syndrome and issues, and
I didn't even
that's what makes him so human.
I didn't even think about that. He's on a team of superheroes and gods, and he's just a really good archer. There's
a line in one of the I don't know which one it was because I already read all the comics back to back. I have to write Hawkeye. Oh, better read all like the most prominent Hawkeye comics, and one of them was like he was so like obsessed with just hitting every target because that's all he could do, right? He's the most human. Like if I want to compete with gods and super enhanced humans stuff like that, I need to be the best at just shooting things. Never miss. Always hitting because that's Hawkeye.
That makes sense. As a person who definitely relates to imposter syndrome, all of a sudden I love Hawkeye even more. So.
Oh, I see Levy asking a question is like, does imposter syndrome pass on to Kate? No, Kate Bishop is great, hilarious, fun, and the most confident person you ever meet. That's basically Kate Bishop knows what she's doing, or at least she feels like she knows what she's doing. She's like an opposite to Clinton in that way, and I think Kate also lifts him up in that regard.
Yeah, that would be my take on Kate too. Is she definitely seems like a lot more confident. I like that. This is interesting stuff to think about. Interesting stuff. Okay, let's take I got a few community questions that I made people submit beforehand. So let me ask. This one I like. You obviously don't have to say the end. It's more just like a curiosity about how the game is created. Like when you think about the story of the game as a whole, like is there a end to it that's written? Like when the game is like is there an end to the story? I guess not an end to the game necessarily, but like is there something like that written?
Not that I know of, but there's always been a plan and we've been sticking to it so far. So
okay,
there's stuff we litter around like before that, and then it'll pay off later. So
yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I always like to say when I'm writing something that I think I know the end when I start, and then the characters show me that I'm usually wrong, like somewhere along the way, which is good and bad, maybe for the writing process. I'm not sure.
No, I think it's a good thing to change your mind, but I think it's also a good thing to stick to your guns, which is you normally sort of like vaguely know the end destination, right? For at least in game writing, you know the end destination because it's in the notes that you have. Someone has to make a level, so you know where it's going to end up.
Yeah.
So that's not much of a big problem. Like, initially, I guess in the outline is, but so far it's early. I've never like I think endings are like easy in a way, but it's way harder to make the beginning of something and grip people in that sense and make that carry over and build up to that ending. I think that's the more difficult part.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of my questions for you, let's see where. One of my questions was that, like, what is your experience writing something that both, so this is about Future Imperfect, but something that both ends and continues. So Future Imperfect ended like with a pretty big cliffhanger that I still felt satisfying. And like what's the process of writing a moment like that?
Let me think. Well, it helps that someone else thinks for me for like in the big beats, like someone thinks these things for me, and then I just like consider it's like, is it a good ending? Yeah, probably. It's always like a part of like if you look at like taking aim, it's very much okay. Gotta save Hawkeye. Oh, I saved Hawkeye. we resolved the big problem of the story, but then there's always like, oh, Hawkeye falls in a coma, so that's a tail end to the narrative that we're telling, and I think that's a good pattern to continue. It's like, okay, we resolved the things that everything was talked about, but hey, here's the next thing. Oh, there's the next thing coming up. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's an interesting thing having to both make a DLC feel satisfying, which I think has worked with all the stories so far, honestly. But then also, give the people that we want more thing.
We want more.
And I definitely think that line is very tough to walk because, for example, we just watched Matrix Reloaded last night, and that one didn't really end satisfyingly, but it definitely ended with "We want more."
I've been watching this for like forever. How does it end?
It literally ends with "to be concluded," and like it's basically like Neo and whatever Smith is in the actual human world, are like lying right next to each other or something. Like it was just I was very struck by like, that didn't really feel like an end to that story that they were telling. It definitely felt like they recorded Matrix Revolutions at the exact same time, which they did.
There's probably something on the internet about that.
So yeah, sorry for the Matrix Reloaded story.
Oh no, it's fine.
That was a cool 18 years ago, I believe. So if you hadn't caught it by now. Okay, let's get another question. So I think if I talked to a lot of the other writers, they would they would talk to me about writing about characters with powers, but you're I mean, you wrote mainly a character without powers. Like, what do you think is different writing a character with powers versus writing?
She also doesn't have powers. She's like a teleport thing, but other than that, she's also just a really competent girl with a bow. So
fair point. But like, is it? I mean, I guess we talked about it a little bit, but like, is there more than just the imposter syndrome to writing Hawkeye versus writing an actual god or a man made of iron?
More than imposter syndrome. Well, it helps. Hawkeye's also very, very stubborn.
Yeah,
and he's funny. And what else is Hawkeye? Dangerously determined.
Dangerously determined.
Dangerously determined. The guy goes to the future to save a friend. Come on, that's pretty heroic. It's pretty.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. That brings a question to mind. So.
When you think about it, it's pretty much like more heroic than maybe Tony. I don't know.
I guess the question that it brought to mind is, wait, why didn't he call the rest of the Avengers? Is it for the same reason every comic is like, they could solve this problem pretty easily with Thor? Like that's definitely
captured, so he couldn't.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess that's true.
Apart, and they were outlawed and stuff like that, and they didn't keep in touch, and that's why.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, Cade was mad at the Avengers for. I think that's one of the Intel docs. Cade's mad that they sort of like cut them out of the 8A fallout and then I think the justification was that the Avengers wanted to protect Cade and Clint from that, and in a way they succeeded.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the cost of friendship. But everything's great now because they joined the Avengers again.
It's true. One thing that I caught, and I think that this makes sense, so hopefully I'm not thinking about this incorrectly, but I felt a little bit like Clint's story in Future Imperfect was a bit of a mirror to Kamala's story, or like Kamala's handling of the Avengers in the Reassemble campaign. So basically, it felt to me that Kate was kind of to Clint what Kamala was to the Avengers in this DLC. Is that something that I'm reading correctly?
It wasn't intentional, but I think that's it's always like the relationship between Kate and Clint is that of brother and sister, right? It's always like Kate lifting Clint up, even in the in the Matt Fraction one. It's always like, I'm Clint, I'm sad about whatever, something, and then Kate's like, yo, get your stuff together, man. Come on,
we've got work.
Get out of your own head. We gotta do something.
Yeah, and I just thought it was really interesting because it's, even if it wasn't intentional, it still felt like a nice reminder of the story that we experienced in Reassemble, which I thought was an amazing story as well. But just the idea of like reminding a hero that they're a hero and why they're a hero. And so I thought it made for a nice story mirror, I guess, in that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a nice thing to think about, even for me. It's like, oh yeah, maybe.
They always say that people, you can write a story and then people will like take themes and stuff from it that maybe you weren't even thinking of.
I never think in themes; they just emerge. It just happens. Like I don't. It's not how I write. It's like, oh yeah, I guess my story is about sacrifice or love, and it's like, oh well, that just happened, I guess. So
I like it. What? Okay, another question from the community that they asked previously. What are your favorite moments from writing the game? And tell me a little bit more about the writing team. Like, what's it like working with them? How many people are writing? Like, I'd like to hear more about that.
it's a big question, man. Come on, it's like three questions in one.
You threatened that I wasn't going to ask as hard of questions as Andy, and I'm just trying to show up for you. I'm trying to show up.
Sure. The first thing would you ask was favorite part that I wrote?
Like favorite moments of the act of writing the game. I guess we can also talk about the favorite moment that you wrote too, because I definitely want to.
First favorite writing moment was I wasn't even a writer back then. It was I was still designing, and then I sometimes I sent in these sort of like stub lines to our narrative director John Stafford at the time about which. Okay, let me think about it. Okay, so we've got a helicarrier, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Tony and Kamala, and Tony visits Kamala's room for the first time. You know, she's the burkini and stuff like that. And then I wrote a quick like joke that was like, it's not in the game anymore. Like it got cut at some point in a rewrite, which was like the transition from like so he leaves Kamala's room, and then Tony decides, oh, I have to go to the lab and actually tinker on my suit. And Tony's line was like. Better look at my suit. Better something Kamala. Oh, God, so long ago. It was the first thing I wrote, and then it got voiced by Nolan North, and I shed a tear. Like, oh my God, for professional AAA dialogue that's been recorded. I'm blanking on the line. What's the line? But something. Better work on my suit or something before Kamala does me in the fashion department. Something in that sense.
I like that.
It's been long ago. Nicole says, yeah, okay. It's good. Okay, that was line.
That was line? Okay, yeah. I mean, definitely having the experience of a voice actor like taking something you wrote and was it weird having that experience? Like you wrote it and then like hearing it and you were like, I
did not expect it. It was like I'm playing through. It's like, oh, what? They actually went with the line.
That's really cool. Okay, so the follow up to that question was, talk to me about working.
I have more moments to think about. Like, can I say more moments?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is your show. I'm just here. Yeah. I'm just here. You're taking over.
I love the sort of like the first time you visit the anthill. Like that was sort of like the beautiful baby between me and Hannah. She first did the pass on like the anthill, and then I came in. I did a lot of the banter after that.
Okay.
And then at some point in the story, it's like, hey, we need to write. We call our the first time you come in, what we call it a visit. There's several visits. Like, we need to write the first visit to the Anthill, and I got to write that and introduce all the characters.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was great. And second would be, I think for like the ending of taking aim.
Okay.
It was also like there was like a first draft, and the director cried when he saw it. Like, it was wipe away a tear. I was like, oh, okay, well, and then they recorded it. I was like, oh, yeah, it's good. Sometimes you know something like on the first go, basically.
That's awesome.
And for future Imperfect, it would be, I think the writing the confrontation with Maestro was very satisfying because I was like, oh, I get to write Maestro, and I read literally all the comics with Maestro in him at that point. Which wasn't that much at the time, like, but now he's like, he's got his own run and stuff like that, so it predates that. That was very satisfying. Just I like villain confrontations.
Okay. Sorry, I'm taking us off that question for a second, but what's your take on Maestro? Like, what makes Maestro? What's his essential trait or essential traits?
I've answered that before. Like it was a very good answer, so I'm going to think back to that answer and just repeat it.
Dang it.
I think Maestro is just, he's just like such a great evil dictator in a way. Like he's totally not the Hulk, or like he's more. It's like an evil Bruce Banner. That's what I said. He's an evil Bruce Banner. It's like if Bruce Banner had all his frustrations and being belittled and stuff like that, and then it becomes this. He gives into sort of like the crazy meta. He becomes like Professor Hulk, but like the bad version of that.
Yeah.
Where he abuses all the power he's got, and so Maestro's always been sort of like he's so bad. He's bad.
Yeah.
He's bad. Who's bad? Maestro's bad.
Let me ask you this: is your Maestro? Does he think he's a good guy? Because I mostly fully subscribe to the idea that, like, in most stories at least, the villain thinks of themselves as a hero. They think they're doing the right thing, even if the right thing costs lives or whatever. They think they're still doing it for a good reason.
I think Maestro thinks that he's gonna. I wouldn't say good, but I think that what other life is there in the wasteland except for one under my rule? Like, if I wasn't here, stuff would be a lot less benevolent. Even the comic run is that, right? He created this utopia, where people live in, but he still he subjugates and he takes what he wants, and he's just a bad guy. Some people are like just bad people. I think Maestro very, very much is a very bad person, even though there's a beautiful simplicity to it, I think.
Yeah, I planned that question. I wrote that question a long time ago, to send to you, because I prepare for this kind of stuff way in advance, because otherwise my anxiety, like Hawkeye, I
write anything down and put it on a note app, and I'll revisit it like 6 months later. Oh yeah.
But it's funny. I wrote that question down, and then yesterday I was playing through one of the 2 Maestro villain sectors, and I noticed for the first time in the background, Maestro says something about we both want preservation, but we're just going about it in a different way. And I was like, wow, it's like the game is answering my question the day before I ask it, because it was
I think it did write both the villain sectors.
Yeah, so
it was a blur because it had to be done really quickly. So did I write both villain sectors? I think I may have. I think I did all the Maestro ones. I did the Maestro. It's fun because the villain sector we delve a lot more into the character.
Yeah.
So yeah, Maestro's fun. It's just fun. I just like writing villains. It's just testing heroes and be like, ha. You won't stop me, Avengers, and then of course you stop them because it's a video game. So you win.
you stop them or you reload.
Or you reload.
Yeah. So let me see. Someone from the community, Batman, which wrong universe, but wants to know if there's going to be any story element. Well, I guess, are there any story elements, maybe in the Codex or anything like that, of the process of Hulk becoming Maestro? Since obviously that is something that happened in between, in the midst of this universe. I don't know. It's interesting to think about. But is anything been written that portrays the process of Hulk becoming Maestro?
I don't think we've done Maestro documents.
Okay.
But let me think, because we did talk about it at some point. Well, I mean, I think we already in Future Imperfect itself, you kind of find out that the Avengers died, and that's sort of like the thing that drove him insane, the failure of stopping the Kree.
Yeah.
I think that's the Maestro. But yeah, maybe we'll do it in the future. Like, it sounds like it sounds like a very good idea. It's like,
there you go. There you go.
Yeah. Writers agree. Like, that's a good idea. It's like, maybe we will in the future.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If we're here to give you ideas too.
One more Maestro, just put spam every chat, like every Twitch stream. Andy, we want more Maestro, and it's like, yeah. Maestro was gone. I mean, Maestro has been collecting Cavalry, right? That's what the thing is in the sector. So who knows?
It feels like to me, based on my playthrough, that we're not seeing you don't have to comment on this because I want you to keep your job and all that, but it feels like to me that we haven't seen the end of Maestro personally. That's just my unprofessional take. So let's see. Okay, so in terms of creation of the DLCs, Taking Aim, Future Imperfect, were they written and created at the same time? Was it one after another? Because obviously they tie in to each other so deeply. It's basically just back-to-back episodes of a TV show. Were they written at the same time, or were they created separately?
There's some overlap between the two. There's some overlap there.
Okay.
Especially because because once you're polishing one content, you can basically start on another piece of content. So we're always way ahead of where people think we are. So like these things are made in like a couple of months. Like takes longer.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. All right, let's go back to you a little bit. Back to you and ask in your studying of the characters and in your studying of everything, did you come across any comics that you would say people should read this? Anything that you're going to tell people to read? There it is. There it is.
Have you heard of this really great comic run by Hawkeye by Matt Fraction? Also, the original Future Imperfect is great. Like those 2 issues.
Mm-hmm.
I love those. So if you want to read those, you should read those.
I found it really surprising from the video that I guess the team released that I didn't know that Future Imperfect was only like 2 issues. Like
2 issues.
I feel like
it's this big of a story, like in 2 issues. Like,
yeah,
very.
When I saw that, I was like, I probably need to check that out because that doesn't sound like it would be like a big story at all if it only lasts for 2 issues. Like I was picturing something more of the length of, I don't know, Old Man Logan or something like that. Like that's I don't know, 5, 6. That's not even that long, but like 2 issues. That's a lot to.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I like the Old Man Hawkeye is a fun comic run if you just want to read that one.
Old Man Hawkeye. Yeah, I mean, going back to the Fraction. I don't know if you can see, but like right now next to me is one of my first prints is Hawkeye #1. And I will never get rid of that thing because it's it's one of the first things I bought, and I didn't buy it because I was like, oh, that's going to be worth some money someday. But it kind of
I like buying the things for like sentimental value. Like I want to buy the Future Imperfect one probably, but it was like €60. I'm like, oh, it's a big buy, like the original issues. But hey, who knows? Maybe I will at some point. Maybe
comic collecting is an expensive and space-consuming hobby. I have 12 short boxes of comics in my office, and
really?
I should find somewhere else to put them because it takes up a lot of my office.
Yeah, I'm also splurging pretty hard on Warhammer right now. So.
Yeah,
which I won't paint in like 6 months. Like, oh, okay, well.
There was a time where I was a little bit into comics and like hero clicks at the same time, and that was a dark time for my wallet. That's for sure. Like,
sometimes you just go buy stuff to feel better, man.
But I would say that Hawkeye by Fraction and Aja and the whole rest of the team, like that's one of those comic runs that I can recommend to someone who's like, oh, I don't read comics.
Yeah, it's very it reads so it's so good, like in terms of just the paneling, just like, oh, it reads like so because there's some comics that are just like, oh, here's an illustrated page with like 1,000 text balloons. I'm like, oh no, please don't.
Yeah.
And then the Imperfect one's like, yo, here's just like 12 panels without any dialogue. I'm like, oh yes.
Yeah.
Give me visual storytelling. Give me something that perfectly captures and uses the medium to a full extent. Which I also believe in video games, right? It's just like I don't want a movie game. I just want gameplay's fun. Let me game.
Yeah.
Give me control. Keep me on the sticks.
I think people were a little bit surprised to find out from the Hannah interview that she would sometimes skip cutscenes. People were shocked that a game writer would skip cutscenes. We all had a little laugh about that.
I sometimes skip cutscenes, but that's like sometimes cutscenes are way too long. It's like, come on, man. It's like if it's the intro of a game and you give me like 15 minutes of cutscenes, you already lost me basically. Just let me play. Just let me play a game.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's a funny little revelation. But yeah, anybody who has never read a comic, I think that the Hawkeye by Fraction is like it's like almost an introduction on how to read comics because it's just everything flows so well and it's amazing.
It's a great story because they're doing a TV adaptation, Loki, like a small TV adaptation based on it, heavily inspired by it. If you look at all the leaks of that show,
I just want to say that like the moment in the game, was it the second mission of his DLC when Grills was in it, like almost broke me because I love Grills so much.
Yeah, we really wanted to put grills in there. I was like, we need to talk to a neighbor on the rooftop. Can it be grills? Can we be grills? Can we have ask permission?
Yeah, and so like having grills in there, having like hunt for Lucky, I was like, someone made this for me. Like this is I don't care if this isn't for anyone else. This is just for me. This is it was just so good. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was just no question there.
It didn't used to be in the mission for like the first few iterations because I wasn't sure if we actually could get the character in. Like we were gonna approve, but yeah, we did. I was like, oh, thank God.
Wait,
sorry?
You said you weren't sure if you could get like grills in
Lucky, like the
dog.
Lucky,
yeah. Sorry, cut out.
Everyone loves and loves petting and
yeah. I mean, getting onto Can You Pet That Dog is just like obviously an important thing.
That was the thing. It was like, yo, if you want to get Lucky in, we need to be able to pet the dog because else there's no rather not have him in at all if we can't pet the dog.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I mean, I have 2 dogs, so I definitely am a fan of that. Okay, so here's the question that I think everybody like is dying for me to ask because something about this came up last time. Where does Hawkeye fall on the family tree? Where is it?
Hawkeye is the couch surfing brother. That's what we determined. Sometimes he's gone for a long time. It's like, hey, where's Hawkeye? And then one day he shows up. It's like, oh, hey, bro, you're back. Where were you? I was staying at friends or my family or whatever. Or like, it's basically him, little lazy bro.
I wasn't actually sure.
What do you think? Do you think he would play in the family tree?
I was gonna kind of go along with Uncle, but I think I can see the couch surfing brother as well. So, that's interesting.
Yeah, the thing with the Uncle is that Tony's also an uncle, so it's like I wouldn't put them on the same uncleness.
Definitely, but like I mean, we have Full House. We've seen the comedy uncle and the John Stamos John Stamos uncle. So we have but I guess in that case, then it's just depending on where your perspective is from, because then an uncle is just someone's brother. So I guess still kind of the same thing. Let me see. What other questions do we have to go? Let's get another community question here. Is there anything, I mean, I guess maybe we covered this a little bit with Lucky, but is there anything that you wrote or story-wise that like you had to kind of passionately pitch to stay in the game? Was there anything like that?
Probably. I advocated to get in future Imperfect. No, actually, the taking aim. I have to think of operation names because the internal dev names are different than the what's the scientist called? It's the scientist that you take in with Kate. You capture him. Lau Getz. That's it. I really want Lau Getz to get in.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. I'm sorry. I'm seeing people like type for me. So thank you.
Awesome. Okay.
What else did I fight for to keep in? I don't think I've had anything else much. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay.
People are very receptive and accommodating to my suggestions. So
one of my questions was going to be like, so you talked about like kind of seeing if you get the approval for Lucky in the game and that kind of thing. What's it, how involved, what's the process, I guess, of working with this big giant Marvel company that for like getting stuff, because getting stuff into the game, getting approvals, like what is that like? What do you think the experience is like, I guess?
It's a lot of asking for things. Hey, can we use this? Yes or no? Like they basically approve everything. Like they go through the scripts. We get consultancy from their writers as well. So it's always nice to know that even if you write something bad, like there's going to be like 2 or 3 other people go over your work and improve it. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, if people don't like it, it's not entirely my fault because 3 other people looked at it and approved it. So hey,
I love it.
It's a liberating collaborative process.
That's great. Yeah. So it's not, you don't feel restricted by the process. You feel almost more freed by it.
In a way, yes.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, obviously it could be both. I was just trying to make sure.
It depends from time to time. Sometimes it's difficult, but most of the time it's just like, oh, great. Awesome. Sometimes we're just unsure about it. Hey, is this good what we wrote? And then it's like, yeah, it's great. It's like, oh, thank
God. Did anything change from the initial plan for Future Imperfect, or even Taking Aim? I guess if you want to do that.
Yeah,
one too.
all the time. Stuff changes all the time.
Is anything interesting you can share about like what changed from the beginning to what we saw in the final product? Because I do think people like hearing those kinds of things.
I'm sort of like thinking what I'm allowed to say.
Oh yeah, definitely don't.
Like I said, like the lucky one was one of them. Oh, Roy's inclusion. That was something I fought for.
Roy's inclusion, really?
Yeah, there was the first mission with Hawkeye, like going around. It's like, what are we looking for? We have to go through the wasteland, and used to be like signal beacons. But it's like, okay, what if it's just Roy? What if it's Roy survived the apocalypse? Great. So you talk with Roy, and and that decision bled into the other missions where he becomes the Jarvis, right? The Jarvis that sort of like narrates everything that goes on. So
yeah, absolutely.
He's one of my favorite characters. Also, oh god, yeah. Here's the thing. Here's a funny thing about the Roy being in the in the cave sweeping. That's only because I refuse to remove him in the background of the cutscene from. When you were with Pim and Kate and you turn on the time bridge, we have Roy sweeping in the background. And that's sort of like, it was like a joke. It was like, oh, dude, we should totally just, in the future, I'll still be sweeping there. All these, for like decades, he's just been sweeping that floor.
Yeah.
So it was like one of the things I wanted for a long time to get in, and we actually got that in. It's like, oh, yeah.
I like the idea that no one was around to tell him to stop sweeping, so he simply...
Yeah, Roy's, come on, man. Good boy.
He kept sweeping. Okay.
Kept sweeping.
I like it. And I did think that having Roy, a character that we've already seen, like as the objectives in that first mission, did add a little layer of personality to it.
Yeah, also just killing talking to himself, man. Like does get fairly dull fairly fast. Like you want him, and him giving Fury's message as well, right? That's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
You want that. You want someone for a character to interact with.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. Was there any part of the story, like dialogue, anything like that like took more work than the rest of it? Was anything like super hard to write?
I think the end scene. And I did a few drafts for that. The Old Man Hawkeye reveal, that fight with the robot.
Okay.
And some people, things have changed. Yeah, it used to be Taskmaster, but then people hated Taskmaster, so it's a robot. So people were like, "Oh, why did Taskmaster vanish?" Well, it's because people were tired of Taskmaster, so we had to cut them out.
That's amazing to know. I didn't write that question down, but I was wondering. I was like, "Huh, Taskmaster like showed up and then disappeared."
Yeah, that's because So that's one of the what changed. That's my also an answer on that. Yeah. So we used to have Taskmaster. You fought Taskmaster, but then you fought Taskmaster a lot, but in the course of a few months, let's not fight Taskmaster there. So it used to be Taskmaster get shot in the face, so you missed out on that.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was like it was like Kate and Clint asked Taskmaster to stand down after beating him to the ground for the umpteenth time.
Mm-hmm.
And then Taskmaster and it's like, I should have stayed retired. And then Taskmaster whips out his pistol. Why? I always get the job done. And then there's Old Man Hawkeye fires an arrow in his pistol, and he looks at it confusedly, and then he gets shocked. Then he falls down, and then that's where the shock arrow line basically was tied into. The shock arrow line, which was used by marketing way later.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's all ties together, man.
Oh man, that is some stuff that I want to see that now. I always. People when we first saw the trailer, people were like, "Oh, Taskmaster's in the Future Imperfect DLC," and I was like, I never really got the idea that we like completely beat him. So it made sense to me that he was in Future Imperfect, but I also understand that we had fought Taskmaster a lot. So I get both sides of the argument. I get both sides. Let's see. So one thing that I guess I don't know for sure, but my assumption was that time travel maybe came in to allow more interesting elements of gameplay, such as allowing I guess time travel and tachyon anomalies allow for the multiple heroes at once sort of thing. So my question is, was time travel always a part of the plan for the story, or was that something that you guys came up with later?
I don't know.
You don't know? Fair enough.
It was just a thing at some point. Time travel. That's pretty early. But I think Hannah says like apparently it's like it was always the plan.
Okay.
Apparently it was always the plan. At some point.
I like it. Do you guys have like the? Do you guys?
We did it before Endgame. I just want to say that. Like,
fair enough.
And then Endgame did it. And I was like, oh wait, they also did time travel.
Yeah. I think eventually every superhero story has to go to it, right? But do you know, like, do you guys have you written out the terms and the stakes of time travel in this game? So like, is it like Avengers Endgame style time travel? Is it Back to the Future style time travel? Like, do you guys know what the cause and effect and consequences chain is with time travel, or not? You know, like that's okay. I was just curious.
Had a complicated drawing. What she's telling me. I think it was Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. I think the thing with time travel, you just don't think about it, man. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy the ride.
Honestly, I'm completely okay with that answer.
It's like, yeah, it's like a different branch. I think it's not. It's a reality that doesn't happen. No, that's the whole. Because else, how did it's the paradox? Don't think about time travel. The cool thing that I can say is that for Clint and Clint's. Why Clint was having that dream is because he experienced time non-linearly because of because of the tachyon radiation, what people call it. The causality stops being a thing, which is what Pym says as a warning to Kate way back in Taking Aim. It's like, oh, causality stops reality collapsing in itself. So Clint was experiencing stuff from his future, which may or may not be prevented now based on the events of Imperfect.
Man, that might have been one of the tougher. Dude, like, it might have been one of the tougher ones. Time travel.
How do I justify guys' visions? Oh yeah, time is different.
time travel fries your brain, as one of my favorite time travel movies says. Let me see. Let's see. Is it Jeremy Baramy? Let's see. What other community questions that I actually might have gone through? So other than Hawkeye elevator banter, what's your favorite elevator banter? Out of curiosity.
You want everyone always to know with the elevator banter.
People love Family Tree. People love the elevator. I mean, now you got people. I don't know if you saw in chat, but there's a complicated drawing about the time travel. Now people are gonna ask to see that. God. People want to see the. I mean, we still want our elevator banter like coffee table book. Like that was one of my suggestions.
Oh, yeah,
just a coffee table book. I think.
It's a good suggestion. Yeah, I remember it. I was like, oh, it is a suggestion.
So.
I also want that. I would buy that book.
Like, oh yeah, like
just if they don't give it to me for free for some reason, because all the streamers are getting cool swag and stuff. Like I don't even have like an Avengers like jersey. It's like I want an Avengers jersey. I want some merchandise.
I'll talk to some people, see if I can get you. See if I. I'm just kidding. But yeah, what's an elevator banter that you really love that doesn't involve Hawkeye? If you can think of one,
I think it's like Kate, like Hulk roasting Kate about like one of a joke. I don't know which one it is. I think you guys know. Does anyone know the one with Kate and the Hulk? And Kate's proud for him for making a joke.
Is that the one where he says like, is she the one that asks him like, can you tell me a joke? And he says you? Is that?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great one.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Any banter with Kaden is basically gold. That's just
yes. That is very true.
I love writing Kate. She's so so fun to write. It's always Kate. It's like
Okay, let me see what other questions. I guess we're down to. We've taken up a lot of your time, but does anybody in chat have a few questions? Again, we can't ask questions really about the future. We can ask questions about the future Imperfect, but questions about the actual
or the main campaign as well. Like I worked on a lot of things.
Yeah, as much as my screen name leads you to believe that we're gonna like reveal secrets, like that's not so much.
The Master one was pretty good. Nothing was pretty.
I mean, Bob wants to know when you're gonna play with us. Oh, actually, that's a great question. Who's your main? Is it Hawkeye? Do you play? Kate. Ooh.
I haven't played in a while. I still need to play to shoot from Perfect since launch. I was like, I'm gonna play it, and then I never did. I have too much things to do, man. Like, I'm hardcore hobbying right now. I was like, I need to paint these little tiny army men. Like,
that's fair. That is fair. Let's see what else we got. Yeah. So, what's your favorite Hawkeye interaction with another Avenger, rather than just the one to himself? Do you have a favorite one there?
Sorry, I get distracted by a question by Facebook. Does Maestro have any hard feelings for Monica still? Yes, I think Maestro would be more angry, especially since Monica failed to save the world. So him knowing that would be like even more, frustrated.
You know what? I'm doing this wrong. Why am I trying to pick out questions to ask you? If you see something in chat you want to answer, that is more than fine by me.
Let's see. Questions. Was the anthill originally visioned as a truncated? I don't know if it was. Giant ants, but we grew the ant. Like they're really cool. I like the giant ants in the background of the anthill.
I remember the first time I saw those, I went, "Holy crap!"
No, it wasn't. It's a shrunken base. It's just experiments with pin particles. So giant ants.
Old head. I don't know if you heard, but like if you do 4 of the same character in an elevator, sometimes you'll get them talking to like not each other, but like themselves. I think is what you're saying. Yeah. So there is dialogue.
We don't have that's.
There is dialogue that's written like that.
That's a lot of work.
How much writing did you do in the headspace is lucky? That's a good question.
I just imagine myself to be a good doggo. It's basically, yeah.
Anybody else have anything? Which character would you love to write a story for? Not saying that they're coming. We are not confirming anything, but like what character would you love to write for? I think that's a pretty good question. If you can answer. You don't again, please don't get yourself fired. I don't want to be responsible.
I kind of already have with Kate and Clinton away.
There you go.
I really genuinely have to think about like who else would I want to write for? Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of "How are you so handsome" going on. So I don't know if you have any. I don't know if you have any beauty tips. But
I intentionally wore one of my best shirts.
I was talking with my wife before the interview. I was like, "So what should I wear?" When I talked to Hannah, I was wearing like a button down. I looked fancy, but it's a lot warmer now. And if I wear that, I will probably pass out from heat stroke or something in the middle of the interview. So what should I wear? And
you gotta suffer for your art, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if
I'm wearing this and it's way colder in my room, so
I gotta suffer for your art. I like that.
Moisturization would be the thing.
What do you think about answering? Val wants to know final thoughts on those wanting to develop or write for video games. Any words of encouragement? Any thoughts on that?
It's difficult, but worth it. It's so fun. It's like you get to play every day in a way. So,
oh, that's actually good. Yeah, I guess I was gonna ask. Like, does it? You wanted to make video games. Now you make video games. Does it live up to the expectations? Is it better than the expectations? What is it?
It's great because you're working with great people. It's still a job, so from time to time, it's like, oh man, why did I decide to be a game writer? Maybe people shouldn't become a game writer. It's a job like anything, right? Like even if you do the things that you love, people always say like, yeah, you'll never work a day in your life if you do the things you love. It's like, yeah, well, no, that's not. For most people, that's not the reality. It's still a job. You still get up at times you don't want, and you still sleep poorly over your job and have frustrations with people and conflict and all those things. But yeah, no, it's fun. I like it. I like it, and people like what I make, and that's great. And I think that's all.
That's awesome.
More that people can ask for it. Dream job's still a
job. Someone's wanting to know: was there any kind of romantic relationship between Clint and Nat?
I see in their Twitter. Prior to Ada. Ooh, I think so. Yes, Yes. The answer is yes.
Are you like looking at a team chat that
Yeah,
that is giving you these answers? I like that.
They are X's. That's
Okay, there you go. I feel like I remember Hannah talking about that with was that Clint and Nat with, because she loved a comic run where, was it Clint and Bucky were on a road trip? I forget what it was. It was something like that, but I can't remember. What it was. But
was it? I don't know which one it was.
I think that's what Hannah was talking about.
Tales of Suspense. Yeah, I recommend that. It was like, Hannah, you should read Tales of Suspense. It's great.
Tales of Suspense is what it was. Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay. Well, I mean, I think honestly we moved through a lot of my questions. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I should have saved the family tree thing for right now as like a final, like.
It's a good wrap up question, like family tree.
The family tree. Part of me was like, I ask it right off the bat. It's like you go to a concert and like
limited by, like, you can do whatever is best for the conversation, man. Like,
yeah.
If there's like another big question you have, then keep that for last.
Yeah, it's just like, if you go see Journey, do you want them to play "Don't Stop Believin'" right away? Do you want to wait till the middle? Yeah. You gotta choose when you bring out the hits. Let's see. Okay, so let me ask this: how do you? So I feel like in a lot of movies or comics or books or whatever, like one way to emphasize stakes is a character dying. And I don't necessarily think that's an option in a playable game most of the time. Like, it's not
really easy to just, if you keep killing off people, it's like, when is this character gonna die? It's not fun.
Yeah. Well, it's not like you can all of a sudden be like, well, Thor's dead, you can no longer play as him. So like, what are some methods for emphasizing character stakes, emotional stakes, plot stakes, that kind of thing in a story where your main characters are playable and don't get the option of dying? Like, that sounds dark, and I know that not a lot of people.
It's a good question, because it's like the same thing where it's like serialized storytelling, right? With if you're in a TV show and your main protagonist, you can't just kill the main character, but it's always like you endanger everything that's around them, right? Like, it's always friends or family of those people, or the fate of a city, or something that's less tangible, but it's still worth a lot to the particular character you're invested in. So
okay,
for Hawkeye, it would be Lucky. Lucky could have died. Who knows? It could have been a thing.
We
can still kill off the dog. We can still do it.
Do you see Faye Walker in chat there? Do not touch Lucky. That was before you even said that.
Now we may have to do it.
Oh no, not like this.
Well, saying the cat's a thing, but kill the dog is also very much a thing. Like, that's how you get John Wick kind of things. Literally.
It is one of my least favorite plot points.
It's so sad. You don't want to see a pupper get,
I can't believe you threatened the doggo. I will fight you. There's some stuff going on. There's Keano is making quick enemies. Oh no, I'm so sorry that I led you into this moment. This is no.
We got some spicy things saved up for later, so
yeah. I don't know.
We'll find other ways to break your heart. It's great.
Oh good. We have that to look forward to. Chat, what else you got? Let's see. Someone wants to know how Maria Hill is in the past, but the future too, and the Nick Fury missing thing.
Oh, the Maria Hill in the future is future Maria Hill. That's
so it's just
her from that timeline.
Yeah, that makes sense. Lucky has a playable character. Bob wants to know.
That would be great.
What would his alt be, though? That's my question, Bob.
We really want the pet Avengers. Look at this miniature. Oh, we get the pet Avengers. That was so great.
There you go. Do you have a favorite skin in the game?
I love it's always been sort of like my staple during development. I always use the space skin of Tony. I don't know what's it called. Iron Man, the bulky one.
Yeah, is it the white? Is it the white
gold one? The white gold one.
Yeah.
It was my favorite. It's like, oh yeah, it looks like he's gonna brawl. He's gonna beat some people up. Yeah, Iron Man, you go punch people.
Tony gets an Airbud skin. There's some stuff happening in chat.
Star Wars armor. That's it. Yeah,
there it is.
Star Wars suit, sir. It's like, yeah. It's like, oh man. I think I just sort of like subjectively pushed it away because I scripted like part of a few of the Star Wars suit sequences, the suit up stuff, and the helicarrier is like, some dialogue you just repress. It's like, Words start losing their meaning after a while.
Let's see. I got a thank you. That's awesome. Batman wants to know what happened to Lyle Getz. He's apparently not in lockup anymore. Is that a thing?
He should be in lockup. I think maybe he might get moved somewhere else.
In another lockup.
In another lockup.
Throg and Lockjaw playable. Throg would be my dream. I don't know, like, I don't know how much you have seen of my content, but I have been trying since the game launched to find a Throg hat. I have been it doesn't exist as far as I can tell. But like I feel like I would spend a good deal of money on a Throg, like from the game, a Throg hat, and so
whatever writer made a Throg hat. It's a great hat. Yeah. Can I link? I don't know.
Can you link in my chat?
I don't know. I can't find it. Maybe if you post it really quickly, I can just link it if she wants. I'm asking like consent here, like just I don't know.
You literally you literally made it. Can we see it? Because I would love to see it. You'll find the tweet. Let me know and we'll get you a permit in the chat so everyone can see it, because so the beta, beta came with like free credits and I got that skin from the marketplace, and like until the Kamala jammies outfit from like last week, that was basically always my Kamala outfit, and so it's kind of become a thing around here. Nice. Of me attempting to find that hat. Let's see, hold on. Got a lot of thank yous. Is there a reason we don't see a single scripted single player set pieces in the DLC?
Well, yeah, because it's really expensive to make, and it takes a long time to make those scripted sequences. Like I remember the Doom person, like Hugo Martin, the Doom director, is like, yeah, boss fight takes a year. It's like, oh well, that's stuff takes. It's very expensive. Like if you want other types of content, we gotta invest in things that actually are super worthwhile. But maybe we'll do it more, some more stuff in the future. But
look at that hat! I'm so jealous.
Oh, she posted it.
I am so jealous. Okay. Anyways, sorry. That's not me looking at like images on a screen. Not like the best interview moment, but it's just so good. It's so good. Thank you for sharing. Good. Thank you for sharing that with us. That is
just for the assist.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I was told you had about an hour, so I don't want to take up like we're overtime at this point. But I don't know.
I don't know if there's like any more interesting questions.
Anybody have more questions?
Weekend for me. I have like 4 days off now. So
there we go.
Yeah.
It's also like super night where you are, though, right? Like
it's 9 o'clock.
That's bedtime. You're just describing bedtime to me.
What time do you go to bed? And because you're a streamer, right?
I notoriously go to bed very early for a streamer. So for up until streaming was my full-time thing, I would wake up at 4:40, get up and write before I'd go into a full-time job. Then I would come home and stream. So like I was doing like 3 things, and so I'd get up at 4:40 for about 5 years. So, yeah, we haven't adjusted beyond going to bed. We go to bed maybe like 10. It's not really like 9, but we go to bed pretty early, to be honest. For the typical gamer, probably, I would say I go to bed about 5 hours too early.
Yeah, pretty good. I go late. I'm late. I'm a night person. It's like sometimes, the writer is still working. It's like 5 p.m. and I'm still like at 3 a.m. I'm still like texting them. It's like, because I just love our writer chat so much. We just talk about whatever at the time.
Let me see. For a typical person younger than 70, I go to bed early. Jeez.
Wow.
That is tough. Maestro is trying to time travel in one of the villain sectors. What is his ultimate goal?
Save the world. It's like what he said, right?
Yeah.
He wants to save the world. But what the world looks like, you should read the comics.
Oh, I just realized. Hold on, I gotta respond to Jess. I gotta respond to the Throg hat with my own personal version of the Throg hat. It's the closest I've come. Is an emote. Which, by the way, having an emote artist and just sending them like, so I like this hat in this video game.
Even emote artist, an emote artist.
Oh yeah. I mean, you gotta. I can't draw. I gotta pay somebody to make these emotes for sure.
Nice.
So just sending them a message and being like, I want my dog wearing a hat that is a frog, but also Thor. Good luck. That's a very unique streamer experience. Will Hawkeye get a bed on the helicarrier, or is he always on that couch?
I hope. Maybe at some point. It's a good couch, though. It's a very good couch. Last of Taskmaster? Who knows?
I was gonna say I'm trying. I see some of you asking questions the same, and I'm not picking up the questions that seem to do with the future because again,
there's only so much.
There's only so much Keano can share with us, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Do you get better dinner reservations?
They actually opened restaurants recently. I really want to go back, like out for dinner.
Oh, we have not been anywhere for so long.
Oh man,
so long. Keanu's favorite color?
I think originally blue, but I'm really leaning towards purple now.
Wonder why.
You wonder why?
I was just kidding. I was just messing with you. So it is completely up to you whether DMAC's question is something you can address. I see it, DMAC. Not my place to address that one. Well, that's a good point. Lucky has a bed and Clint doesn't. That's really funny.
I can't comment on the DMAX thing, unfortunately. I did write for Black Panther though, so I can say that.
Favorite Marvel moment that you've read in the comics? Proud of to see make it into the game?
Right about in the comics, you were proud to see make it in the game, Avengers game. What was it? There's a few Kamala moments, right, that were pretty much from the comics. Good is the thing you do is the thing you are. It's classic.
It is classic.
The Captain America. When the world's against you, you plant yourself as a tree, and then you say no, you move. That's also a good one.
Yeah, that moment in the beginning when like right at A-Day when Kamala said that moment right there. It was like when I knew the game was for me because I was like, whoa, that is emotional storytelling in a moment that most games would use, like start you off with punching things. I feel like, and so I really enjoyed that. Let me see the cap quote. If Keanu could write a story for any Marvel hero, who would you write a story for? I kind of answered that one already, Lightning, unless there's something changed, but you kind of said you already did, right? That was the answer. Like Purple 2. Trying to see if there's anything we missed.
Oh yeah, it was Cap said it's a spider. That was it.
Yeah. Who's Keanu main? Keanu has answered that one. It is Kate.
Used to be Tony for like the longest time. Everyone's like, I don't dislike people. Other devs were like, I don't like Tony. I like, Cap more or Widow. I was like, no, Tony. I like switching guns and shooting things. Really simple. Just shoot things and punch and shoot. Like Mega Man. It's like Tony. Iron Man's basically Mega Man. So I love Mega Man. So.
How do you play Kate? Do you play? Are you melee? Are you range? People like to know those things.
I like my hybrid build. So
hybrid build. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any pro Kate tips? Any secrets that you can tell us from the inside about like how to be the best Kate in the game?
Just use those heroics.
Okay, fair enough.
Just use those heroics. Just dodge stuff and use your heroics. You'll win.
Batman, do you mean favorite villain in the game or favorite villain in the Marvel universe, or like didn't say Missile Iron Man? The pin arrow is the only proper way to play Kate. That's funny. All right.
Which Marvel Avenger do you identify with most? Personality wise, I mean, which one is it's either Kate or Hawkeye in a way. Like, I don't know which one. I think Kate more. I think I'm more on the Kate side than the Hawkeye side of things. Which is funny. I also wrote a lot for Kate as well. So that's basically Kate is basically the marriage between me and Nicole, like in terms of like a character. Like,
okay. I was actually gonna so I talked to Hannah about this a little bit, but like I still don't know if I feel like most. I think I saw maybe Nicole tweet something that said like basically they gave you like full credit for writing Future Imperfect. Is that your perception, or is it like much more a team thing in your
It's
perception?
very much a team thing.
Okay.
We give each other credit because some people like own like a DLC stuff like that, right? So
Yeah.
Mostly we would give the most credit to that person, but it's very much a team effort. Everyone reads each other's stuff. Everyone improves each other's stuff. It's always, yeah. Like I wouldn't say I solely wrote Future Imperfect. Like Nicole was very involved as well, and so yeah, we don't take credit for each other. We always struggle to give each other. It's like, oh no, you wrote this. It was perfect, great, and stuff. Like, yeah, I love you. So that's
everyone trying to give credit away instead of taking it. I like it. I like it.
In a way, it's just like I don't want all that responsibility. Shove it away. It's like, no, you also wrote stuff.
Batman wants to know favorite villain in the game and favorite villain, I guess, just in the Marvel universe in general.
Favorite villain in the game. Taskmaster. No, I wouldn't say. Would Taskmaster would say? What I would say. I love Monica though. Like as well as a character. But yeah, I think my Maestro was just great to write. Like,
yeah,
I would want to write more Maestro, basically.
Okay. All right, fair enough. I see you, crazy, but again, I don't think we're spoiling anything for the future. I think we're spoiling.
Thanks for all the hugs.
Lightning likes to hug. Taking Aim in Future Imperfect was one story initially, one DLC.
Well, it's in ways once, but no, it's always been two.
It's always been two. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's always been two.
Did Banner ever figure into Maestro's story? That's interesting. Yeah, I think you kind of touched on that a little bit, right? Because you said that Maestro was essentially like all the worst parts of Banner, right? Like, is that kind of what you were? Yeah.
Yeah, Hulk is just a big, angry, misunderstood baby. I love the Great Hulk comic. That's also a really great one where I don't know what it's called. It's maybe I can link it. Can I link it? Hulk Great. That's what it's called. It's called Hulk Great. 2003, 2004 run.
Is your
user? You want to really get a really good? Oh no! Like I showed you my Twitter.
Oh,
Twitch.
There you go.
No, you know my Twitch as well.
I was trying not to like. I don't know if you want people knowing your Twitch name, but there it is. There it is. Yeah. I mean, unless you have any more questions that we can answer, we moved through my document. So I don't know. Do you guys have anything else you want to know? Anything else that we can ask that you want to know? That is. Are you a doctor? Are you?
No.
Oh, your username had doctor in it, so people are. Oh yeah, I did miss that one. Are there any Easter eggs in your DLC that people haven't found that you can tell us about?
Are there Easter eggs that you haven't found? Not that I know of.
Okay.
But maybe other people did something that I don't know. So, yeah.
How did the pandemic impact the writing process on the game? Feels like an interesting question.
Made it in a way, like I think we improved it in a way. We would communicate more than before, but yeah, Slack calls help everything. But here's the thing with me, like being remote, I always already did all the remote communication with Crystal, so it didn't really change that much.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was gonna affect you a lot, being the distance, I guess. So
yeah, not really. But there are other departments who struggle a lot more than writing did, in the lack of physical presence. So,
what's a foundational narrative that inspires your writing? Wow,
foundational narrative. Wow. Like I think Spec Ops: The Line, that video game, that was very much like, oh, I want to be a narrative designer because of Spec Ops: The Line, basically.
Oh, really? That was the game. I guess. Man, that was a great question. I should have asked that.
Yeah. Really good personal questions. Like, what made you want to be a game writer? Scott?
Yeah.
I've always had like I want to tell stories in a way, right? Like that's as a game designer, but then it's like, oh wait, that's a separate profession called a narrative designer. What's that? It's like more the technical side of things, and I mean, you know, I always used to play RPGs, and I wish I could make an RPG someday, and I guess it sort of like gets into the game writing. Like I'm working on this really big Skyrim mod and stuff like that. So,
Huh. Do you know the moment that you first like realized you wanted to tell stories? Like, what was there like some moment where you're like, this is what's for me? Do you know if you had that moment?
Epiphany. It's always been sort of like a baseline of who I am. I was always a storyteller. Just I think most humans, you know, in general, are just storytellers.
Yeah.
But I don't think no, not really.
No?
It was just like, yeah, write stories. I'll do that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I had a moment in like middle school where my English like teacher, I guess, was just like, "You're a really good writer," and then I was like, "Oh, that's something that I could do if I wanted to." And I kind of point back to that whenever I think about what got me started on wanting to write. It was just like someone told me that I could, and that sounds very silly and simplistic, but
It's a good like, you know, word of you don't know. Sometimes you don't know if you're good at something until someone says you're good at something, right?
yeah, that's
It helps a lot. It's like, oh wait, I can do this. I can do this.
Man, people are coming in with some questions. 2 capes on Maestro's throne. Whose are they? Because there's only one Thor. Other people
Can't
can have
say.
cape. Other people can have capes.
It's the cape skin of Iron Man.
There you go. It's just not the Incredibles, right? No capes there. That's the one key. What are some of your favorite games? That's a good question, Cosmo. What are some of your favorite games that you're playing right now?
Favorite 2020 game? Doom Eternal.
Okay.
I recently finished Doom Eternal. It's great. I was like, on paper, it was like from what I heard from reviewers stuff like, am I gonna like this? And I sort of like bought it for like research purposes. Like, oh, I'll check out Doom Eternal, and then I end up playing the entire thing. I was like, oh, I'm really hooked by the gameplay loop. I love Doom. It's just a nice video game. It's like, yeah, shoot things, and oh, 1-ups are 1-ups, and it's very, very, you know, it doesn't try to mask like it's like, oh, everything has narrative justification. Nope. The 1-up just looks like a floating helmet because that's just, you know, that's how we did in the old school days, so it's fine. People just accept it.
Yeah, I actually haven't played Eternal. I played 2016, and I was streaming it, and a lot of people were really big fans of 2016 and didn't like Eternal.
They're very different games.
But yeah, then like tons of people also tell me that like it's also very good. So it's, I don't know. As a person who never really played a Doom game, it's an interesting thing to try to navigate, of trying to like figure out, should I play it? But yeah.
Yeah, recently played the original again. The original Doom was like, oh, it's still a good game. still a good game. I'm planning to play anything in the short. I want to play that Ratchet and Clank game that gets shown yesterday. So badly, but I don't have a PS5.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That seems to be the general consensus about PS5s, unfortunately. So hopefully they figure that out soon. Yeah. Lucky is worthy. Everybody thinks Lucky is the one lifting Mjolnir.
It'd be great.
The
question about like Maestro's throne. Yeah, different timelines basically.
Ooh, interesting. So there is a narrative reason why there's different throne locations. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
Oh, I would love a Thor and Lucky cinematic.
Playing fetch with Mjolnir. That sounds tough. Lucky is inevitable. Oh, that's good. That's very good stuff.
Yeah, did Lucky get snapped? That's a question. Think about that.
Oh, I don't want to think about that at all.
Wasn't he born yet? Let's just say like Lucky wasn't born yet when that happened.
Yeah, that's the only way I'm willing to accept that. That is that's the only way that story could have gone. And you know, in terms of future content, once again, guys, we can't really ask about future content. That's not what we're here for, despite what my username is. Lucky should be an emote for all characters.
That would be great. If everyone just buys the Lucky emote, maybe we'll do more Lucky emotes.
There you go.
So some guy's gonna be like, oh wow, all the Lucky emotes really high. Maybe make it for other characters. Who knows?
You just need that alert to pop up on somebody's computer. You have
Yeah, I
sold.
mean,
You have sold
you're
600.
consumers. You can
600%.
put your money where where you want it. Like if you want to buy cool things and you want more of a cool thing, you would put money in it, right? That's the whole support the game.
I think Lucky got injured, right? So that's where his eye patch came from. That was my understanding.
Yeah. Wasn't he? It was also wounded in the comics at some point. I think. Did he have an eye patch?
I know he was injured. I feel like he just had one eye that was like closed, right, in the comic. I don't know.
He only had one. I think he only had one.
Yeah, because the very first issue of that run is Clint taking Lucky to the vet. I think, right?
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I have read that one. I need to.
Same. Like I haven't read the comic. It's been a while since I read. Like Future Imperfect came out, fairly recently, but for me it's been like longer than.
How long have you been working on it? Actually, can you answer that? Like how long have
I can't give you time dates. I'm not allowed to say.
Fair enough.
I'm not allowed to say that.
The answer to that question is bro.
Long enough where I forgot about things. I'm forgetting.
I can definitely answer that question. It is bro for sure.
Bro. Yeah. We have a bro reference in the game, isn't it, right?
Yeah. There is indeed that one. Did Taskmaster approach Maestro, or did Maestro seek out Taskmaster?
Probably the latter. That's my headcanon, at least. I mean, Maestro controls his domain, right? So.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's maybe all we got. I think we did it. I think we have exhausted the questions. Chat, thank you for asking good questions and for being here. Is that Diamond Select Hawkeye in the back? It's a Marvel Select Hawkeye. If that's nice. Like right here. I tried to get all my Hawkeye stuff like front and center. I don't know if you saw, but I have a few Hawkeye pages. They're not very visible from where you're seeing right now, but I have a few pages from one from the Kelly Robinson, is that her name? Kate Hawkeye. I got a page with Kate and Lucky on it, and then I also got a page with Hawkeye and Deadpool on it. From
Are they original? Where'd you get them?
Yeah, I bought them from the artist. So Michael
nice.
Walsh is the guy who drew them. So I bought those, and then I also have a Moon Knight page. So if Moon Knight ever makes it into the game, I'm ready. I feel like I'm ready for it.
Who knows?
Well, thank you, man. Thank you so much for your time. If you ever want to come back and have another conversation, if you want to just play games sometimes, just feel free to let me know. We will.
I think we have a good overlap in time zone. What time is it at your place now?
3:30.
Oh, that's actually pretty early. Who knows? Maybe.
Yeah,
we'll see.
You have ways of contacting me. Is all.
I know a guy.
You know a guy. You have many ways to contact me at this point. So, thank you so much. It's been amazing.
Thanks for having.
Yeah, chat. Thank you for being so good and kind and all that stuff. I really appreciate that. So, I'll let you go, Keano. Thank you again. And yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, friend.